FPL Camper on the road, chasing points where dreams are sold.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the 2025-2026 FPL season and the new Premier League season. Welcome back, my fellow campers, to the most entertaining FPL channel in the YouTube-verse. Some might say, probably just me, but who cares? Yes, it's been a wow. It's been a while. It's been a while. It's been a long summer. So much has happened. Very needed break in my behalf. I was super tired and consumed by the fantasy season 24-25. I never made that last video that I was supposed to make, the season review video. Probably you've forgotten about it to begin with, but it's just I waited a week, and then after a week I'm like, well, I've already lost interest in FPL. I was in summer mood, and I just like, yeah, just let it go. It's fine. People will do it. But I ended up, not far away from where I was. This is the game week 37. And I ended up first in Kosovo. That I managed to do. Very proud of that. Big achievement. And I think, I don't know, where was I? 4,000 something? 4,000. It's in my Twitter. I'm going to put it on the title just to brag. No, I'm not. It's fine. Never mind. But I don't have my phone with me today. My wife is not here. I had some free time, so I thought, let's just open the new season. Let's do the welcoming video to the new season. There's a bit of change in the channel. I always like to start new season. I'm saying always, like I've done this for years. This is like the third year. With some changes, I put up a new intro. Let me know what you think. I like it. It's a bit longer, but it doesn't matter. I like it. It's more personal. It fits the theme of the FPL camper. And I'm going to try this year to do some videos in the outdoors, in the real, camping site. And not just the virtual one. I do live in Norway. This is like the mecca of nature and camping sites. So I'm going to try and do that a couple of times when I can. But yeah, the new channel... It's a new channel, the old channel, but the new intro and the new theme. I think that I'm gonna have like a different thing. I'm gonna pivot a little bit this year. It's gonna be more like an FPL journey, like mine, because I don't have time to make a lot of videos about transfer and look at all the players. So I'm just gonna talk about my team and my feelings and my thoughts and everything. Go through an entire FPL season. I think, yeah, that's what I had time for, and I think it fits the channel and everything else. Plus, I've been getting the feedback from you, some of the comments saying that that's what we like about the channel, and that's what you're gonna get. So yeah, I got some notes over here because I don't have the phone, because this is gonna be probably a long video. Sorry for that, apology in advance, but there's a lot to talk about, and the videos after that is gonna be it's gonna be shorter. We're gonna look at the draft, of course, later. It's still too early, in my opinion. Still too early for drafts. They're gonna look. I have a feeling they're gonna be looking very different by the time the deadline comes. In 2 weeks' time, less than 2 weeks now. It's gonna be a Friday deadline, so less than 2 weeks. Football is coming back. I'm so excited. I've been waiting for so long. Oh dear, dear me, dear me. Summer transfers is in the first point in my notes. I thought I'd look up some of the... There's been crazy transfer window. I mean, and I say crazy, I'm mainly talking about the top 6 teams, the teams with a lot of money, because there's probably been a lot of movements in the smaller teams. I know very little about the promoted teams as well, so I'm going to have to learn some of those through watching other FPL channels that, do the digging and look at every single detail about every single player and every single team. But yeah, some transfers. Wow. I mean, where do we start? City bought Turkey and Reindeers and 8 Nori. I feel like with Turkey and Reindeers, it's still early to know if they're going to be worth the FPL assets, because they play in midfield, and we don't know if they're going to be the next, if any of them is going to be the next De Bruyne or next Rodri or whatever, next Gundogan. But, well, I think too early for those. But with 8 Nori, I think it's interesting because he's not very well picked in any drafts. I've seen it. And I think maybe most managers are assuming that his minutes are gonna be limited, or just don't know. You know, with the pep roulette is we've been burned so many times before. I would love to see a friendly, and they were in the World Cup, so it's a bit. They're probably gonna have one friendly max, or maybe two. Let's see. Hopefully, we can see something. But I feel like he's gonna have pretty good minutes. I have this feeling. I mean, yeah, Guardiola could play there, but Guardiola is more left center back. He was, pivoted to play in the left back role. I feel like Noor is pretty attacking. If he starts and his minutes are, pretty good, I think that's a very, very, very good one. And I feel like we're sleeping on it a little bit. And there's another player that we're sleeping on, which I have on my draft, I'm going to say later, and that's Mbuemo. So few people I've seen, so few drafts with Mbuemo in it. I mean, people are going for Bruno Fernandes over Mbuemo still, and I get it because Bruno has been, averagely consistent. He still returns points somehow. He never hauls and does shit like that. Gets a penalty every now and then, scores a goal every now and then. He might contribute to the new DEFCON, which we'll talk about later, the defensive contributions, but I just feel like, why? It's like, I have so much to talk about this. I was happy for Man United fans that they got Mbuemo, because if you've seen my videos, I love Mbuemo. I had him my entire season last year almost. I don't think there was any game week that didn't have him. He's a baller. And now suddenly he went to Man U, and people are expecting, I think, this short-term memory that I know United had a bad season, but, context needs to be provided. Half the season, both United and Spurs last year just dropped all their eggs in the Europa League, and they just, they were testing, basically, in Premier League. They're not going to be the same this year. I can guarantee you. They might not get top 6 or top 4, but they're going to be so much better. So much better. Cunha and Mbuemo, two ballers that all of us liked. All of us, all the FPL managers, we were praising them last season. Cunha and Mbuemo, both of them were gone to United, and we're expecting United to be worse than last season. No. With Cunha, I think I couldn't afford to have both, but it remains to be seen who's going to be more attacking. But I feel like Mbuemo is just not suddenly going to forget how to play football and forget that he was a baller. He's going to be contributing. Their opening fixtures are not great. I want to have him either way, because even in the tough fixtures, he can come up with a goal. Their first fixture against my team, Arsenal, which is not looking that impressive in preseason, I have to say. That's from the Man United. Arsenal, we finally got a striker. Jesus, that took only a million years. Finally got a striker. Still remain to be seen. How is that going to work out? He played very little on the first friendly. I'm super excited that we got a striker, because we've been screaming for it. But, it doesn't always work that way, We'll see. I mean, people are raving about Liverpool, but we might see a completely different Liverpool that doesn't click this year. Luis Diaz left. I mean, don't wanna. I just got upset about thinking about the Liverpool because of the tragic news that we got about Jota. And what a big fan of Jota I was. I'm still in shock, in a way. Like, I still haven't forgotten about it, but it's just tried to move on and forget him. Because, and also there's been a lot of buzz that has been generated by the new signing of Verts and everything, but it's just, wow. But anyways, a lot of things have changed. That might affect also. We don't know how the emotional state of the players is. If it's going to be the same, because there was excitement last year with the new coach. It's going to be a very different season for Liverpool, I feel. And they're about to get Isak, maybe. Let's see. But it's not guaranteed, is what I wanted to say, that they'll have they'll win the Premier League that easily, just because they got very good transfer window. Frimpong instead of Trent. Again, Frimpong, great player, but we can't assume that he's going to be just as good as Trent or even better. Kirkes, baller. No doubt. He's an upgrade on Robertson. There's no doubt. I love Kirkes last year. He's probably going to start. And I would love to have him in my team, even though I am tempted right now to go with Virgil. I'll talk about that later on my draft. That's on Liverpool. Great transfers. Verts, super popular in the drafts. I don't know about that. I'm not going to go with Verts, I feel like, most likely. Let's see. It will all depend. There's a lot of things can shift. Like, if I go for certain strikers, I might have to upgrade or downgrade some midfielders. We'll talk about that on the draft. Who else do we have? Chelsea. João Pedro is the most I feel the one that in terms of FPL we're most interested in, and he's on a lot. I think he's, if I'm not mistaken, second most or maybe most owned player in the FPL right now. And he had a good preseason with Chelsea or Club World Cup, so maybe that's turned some head. But we like Joao Pedro before Chelsea as well at Brighton. Might be a minute risk, we don't know, because they have a couple of strikers and they're going for more, so we'll have to see. Context always changes, but we also have to bear in mind that last year Joao Pedro was 5.5, I think. Now it's 7.0 or something like that. So more expensive, and he's playing for a better team. All remains to be seen. Super highly owned and popular in the drafts, but let's see about that. That's in terms of the summer transfers. There's going to be more. It's not over yet. Arsenal might move for Eze. What does that tell you? I mean, excitement. Like, as an Arsenal fan and on FPL as well, I feel like, let's say if Eze comes, Gyökeres starts firing. Saka is having a good season. Saka, by the way, also a bit underrated in the drafts. Managers preferring Palmer more. But let's say Saka, Gyökeres, and Eze, who's playing on the left wing, even though it's not a left winger. I don't know. I would love to see him play on the left wing. But if they all start firing, I would go triple Arsenal attack. Right now. I'm saying it right now. But we don't know if that's happened, so defense still great. Arsenal defense. Yep. Now, what do we have? What else? We have the new edition of DEFCON, or defensive contributions for defenders. So this thing, you've probably, if you haven't heard of it right now, I'll explain it very quick. It's to make defensive players that are not very attacking more popular, because we've been playing fantasy for years now, and we all pick, the likes of Trent and Kirkes, left backs and right backs, or center backs who tend to score goals like Gabriel and Van Dijk. Because besides clean sheets, they don't really have any other metric to get other points. So I think that FPL did a good thing. I think we've been well received generally, this one. That now they get defensive contribution. If they get 10 defensive contributions per game, and this is for defenders, and that is tackles, blocks, and blah blah blah, other things, they get 2 extra points. But that's it. Like if they get 20, they don't get 4 points. It just stops at 2. But that's, it can increase like with those. Maybe it affects the bonus points as well. So, defenders, especially cheap defenders from some teams who did well last year. There's like datas and tables you can find on Twitter how that would have translated from last year to this year, like the like of Tarkovsky and some other players who would do very well. And for midfielders is 12, that number, but the midfielders have an added recovery balls, and that is very interesting because the likes of the team like Arsenal and City, Liverpool to a certain extent, and maybe Chelsea as well. They all have similar-minded coaches who like to press hard, so that makes the defensive midfielders now a bit more attractive. I'm so curious to see the like of Zubimendi, because previous years it would have been, just no. It would have been a no, like likes of Xhaka. We never picked defensive midfielders in FPL because they never brought points. 1 clean sheet point. That's nothing. But with this addition now, they might become more exciting. And there's a couple. Xhaka's made a return, by the way. And he's playing for his 5.0, pretty cheap, playing for Sunderland. So he's going to start 90-minute guaranteed. We'll see, and he can score a goal every now and then or assist. So we'll be curious to see him and the likes of Zubimendi, as I said, Rodri, Gravenberch, Caicedo, Chelsea, Baleba at Brighton, even Declan Rice. I don't know where Rice is going to play now with Zubimendi, but they might play double defensive midfielders, and one goes up, the other stays, rotate between him and Zubimendi. So it's going to be exciting to see. How will that turn out? But it's still early to know, so we'll have to see how it pans out. I feel like good that we have a wild card that in turns, because it's very hard. We always, when you look at the end of the season, the first team that you had in game week 1, it's always very different from how the game evolves later, because we just don't have any data. And even if we did from previous season and friendlies, it's a different game when the season starts. That's what I'm trying to say. The chips. After the miserable assistant manager chip that got so many complaints, finally the FPL removed it, and we were expecting something exciting, something new this season. We got something new. I don't know if it was exciting. Some people love it, some people hate it. I was hoping for the free hit bench boost chip, and I addressed that to Mark via Twitter. Mark Summers is getting some heat, by the way. Now people know that he's working for FPL. Every decision that he's done is like, oh yeah, Mark. But I would love to see in the future still a chip that is a free hit bench boost, like a double chip. Like you play both of them at the same time. Like you can't play separately. It's just a chip that has both. You pick a team just for that week, and you bench boost just for that week. You know? Because I think it makes sense, and it makes our life easier as managers. Do you get me? Like it makes it, because bench boost is so many times, like even last season, I went on an upward trajectory since game week 6 all the way to game week 31 when I played the second wild card, and I set up for bench boost. And I just ruined the whole team, and my season took like a dent, and it got stuck a bit for a couple of game weeks because of that. And we hate bench boost sometimes just because of that. Like, it's never a good time to play it. You never feel like you have the optimal team. So it would be great. But what we got is the double chip. So we got the same chips twice. Now, the only chip that we got to play twice before was the wild card. First part of the season, second part of the season. Now we get a free hit on the first part of the season, second part of the season. We get a bench boost on the first part of the season, second part of the season, and a triple captain. Now, triple captain, don't mind. No problem. Bench boost is going to be problematic. One bench boost chip was already annoying. Now we have 2. Some managers are planning to play that on game week 1. I am a bit reluctant. And I get the idea that you want to get rid of it, and you also set up the team game week 1, then you play the wild card, you change things later. But it's just, I'm uncomfortable not knowing a lot of data on how the teams are going to play and the players are going to, how they're going to perform, to do it on the game week 1 without knowing any information. So I think I am personally not going to play it. I'd rather play it later. And even, I thought about this yesterday, even if I'd rather have like 2 quality bench players and play the bench boost with that than have 4 bench players that play but are going to return, 1 point, 2 points. Do you get me? Like sometimes you have to think like that. Like, okay, if I have 2 very good players in the bench that might return, 10 points each, that's good. Doesn't always have to be okay. All my players have to play, especially with the goalkeepers. We don't have a goalkeeper, a 4.0 goalkeeper so far that we know that's going to start. Yep, that's on chips. On top of the chips, this is the thing that got so much hate on Twitter. Oh my dear. Every single manager or the engaged managers are hating it. And that's the 5 extra transfers that we're going to get before the AFCON. That is wow. I mean, and I get the idea. Like when we got the 2 free hits and 2 wild cards on top of that, and now we get 5 transfers. By the way, you don't get, this is important for those who are not very engaged and don't know how the game really works. So FPL before, you could roll up to 2 transfers. Until the season before, it was like, so if you get a free transfer every week. If you don't use your free transfer, you roll to 2. If you don't use it, you still roll to 2. It used to be. And then last year, FPL changed that and made it up to 5. So you could roll up to 5. So you don't use it this week, you get 2 next week. You don't use it next week, you get 3 the week after, all the way up to 5. Now with this one, by game week 16, well, of course, we're going to make this clear weeks in advance in my videos and other FPL channels. By game week 16, you are going to roll up to 5 transfers. So ideally, you would want to use all the transfers up to game week 16. So then you get 4 free transfers on top of that. If you happen to roll 4 free transfers, you still get only 1 extra, 5. So you don't get like 7 free transfers because you can't. It's not possible. So you want to use all the free transfers that you have by game week 16, and then boom, you get 5 transfers. Disgusting decision, some might say. I don't know. I don't really care that much. We're all getting it, so it's fine. We'll deal with it. This coffee delicious. What else do we have? Draft. Let's move to drafts. Let's move to my draft. Let's not keep this too long, which has been too long already. It's just the first video, but I'm very excited to be back, and I'm excited for you as well. I've got Sanchez as my goalkeeper. Now, why did I forget the name now? The Liverpool goalkeeper went to Brentford. God damn it. Anyways, he's 0.5 cheaper. I don't know why I forgot the name. I had him until lately, but then I switched to Sanchez because Kelleher. Okay, Kelleher. Jesus, I thought I got... Yeah. I had Kelleher on my draft, but I feel like Brentford has lost so much this summer. Not just the coach and the backroom staff and everything else, but some of the main players. And I just don't know how they're going to perform. I don't know if the new coach is going to be same as Thomas Frank, who obviously we all rate. That's why he went to Tottenham, and I feel like Tottenham are going to be a much better team this year. He's super likable as well. So that is the only thing why I didn't go for Kelleher so far. I might still switch back to him because he's 0.5 cheaper. But I'm on Sanchez, and that's mainly because the fixtures for Chelsea are slightly better. Well, not slightly better. They are much better than Brentford. But yeah. And that's why he's here. But I would love to go to Kelleher as well. That would depend on if I want other players in the rest of my team. The closer we get to deadline, we'll figure that out. And another 4.0, goalkeeper. Doesn't matter who, because I don't think any of them is a starter. If we find out that one of the 4.0 goalkeeper starts, then of course it's going to go in my draft. If I know he's for sure going to start, because sometimes they start a game and then they get benched, so they buy a new keeper and then they drop in price, so we have to be aware of that too. Now on defense, I'm trying to keep this team balanced. I don't want to... The drafts that I've seen mostly are either heavy on attack or heavy on defense. It seems very hard this season, at least from now on, because they're going to come gems that are very cheap. Every season we get one or two, like last year's Rodgers. But for now, I just feel like, most of the drafts that I've seen have been a bit not very balanced. Like people are either, as I said, going, hard on attack or on defense. But also now with the defensive contributions, as I said, there are more defenders are more, tempting. But you might also argue that cheaper defenders are still just as good, maybe. But I've got Milenkovic from Nottingham Forest. Now, could be Murillo. I think Murillo had a higher rate of DEFCON's translation from last season. But Milenkovic has a higher goal threat. And it's pretty good with defensive contributions. So he's there for now. Nottingham Forest, decent fixtures to start. No team, maybe I should mention this, feels like no team have like a super crazy good run. They all have, some have like, good runs, decent, and some have super bad. None of them have like a very good. And then I've got Virgil, as I said, Virgil van Dijk, one premium defender there. Initially, in my first drafts that I played like a week ago, I had both a Liverpool defender and Gabriel, because I love Gabriel, and I might still have him. We'll see about that closer to the deadline. But for now, it's Virgil, and I said I would love to have Kirkus as well, but it's too early. Like in wildcard, if he starts and does well the first few weeks, he's definitely coming in the wildcard. Which we'll have to talk about the wildcard as well. I prefer to play it early, but I would recommend, if you're thinking about the chips, watch the Prass's video on FPL Wire, deconstructing the chips and where you might play, because it seems like the best time to play it is around game week 13 because the fixtures swing. But we'll have to see. I mean, if we have a bad start, I might have to play the wild card earlier than that. But do watch that video. Great breakdown. And then I've got Richards or Udogi, one of them. A lot of managers are going with Van de Ven instead of Udogi. And maybe that's because of the defensive contributions. But I feel like attacking-wise, Udogi is better. So I don't know, maybe not that much between them. So it could be Van de Ven or Udogi or any four. I'm not very set on the 4.5 ones. I feel like Virgil and Milenkovic are more likely to remain there. and maybe a Gabriel. I might have to sneak a Gabriel in or not. Depends. I think it would ruin the balance a bit. But the other 4.5 ones, like the likes of Richards or Udogi or who do I have on the bench, Konsa, you know, they could be someone else. Like they're not set and forget there. But it's just I think they rotate well, and that's how it is for now. I haven't put too much thought in it. Midfield, I've got Salah. Obviously, remains to be seen if Isak is going to go to Liverpool and if that's going to change something. But I feel like good to start with Salah because most managers are going to have him and most managers are going to captain him, and Liverpool has decent fixtures. And then Palmer, this is the one that I've had Saka all the time until recently. Again, I'm a bit influenced by the community. I would love to have Saka, even though Arsenal's fixtures are not the greatest on the opening. But you might argue if you want to play the free hit, like Pras says in the video on game week 3, then Arsenal's fixture, you know, is suddenly better. But Palmer, the other thing is that people, managers are afraid that Gyökeres might take penalties away from Saka and make him less. While Palmer is definitely going to have the penalties, it's not going to give them. And the fixtures for Chelsea are pretty nice. So yeah, Palmer is right now. And then I've got Mbeumo, as I talked about, very low owned compared to last year. A lot of managers I feel like sleeping on him, and I want to have a player that I've always liked, and he's not very highly owned. I don't want to start, you know, the season with all 100% template. I need to have some differentials that I like, and I feel like Mbeumo, he's more expensive this year. I think only for 8.0 now. But also to have someone in that price range where you can move down and up a bit, like it's good to have there. 3 or 1 premium and 2 semi-premium. And then the other cheaper ones I've got Ismail Assad, just because, you know, good price and he's been okay last season. And Mohamed Kudus, which were, you know, the jury's still out. Remains to be seen. How is he going to do with Tottenham? I feel like Tottenham is going to be much better under Frank. And now Son is going. So minutes are probably there. And I'm sure he's going to do well. And then on the attack, I've got Watkins and Welbeck, WW, at the moment. Attack is probably the most because I want to have Gyökeres. João Pedro is another one that I might like. Solanke, it's another one. And I could upgrade Welbeck to Solanke for 0.5 and downgrade somewhere else. So it's still not set in stone. And also Watkins can become Gyökeres. Maybe that's why. But I think like to start the season, it just seems more safe to go with Watkins. Remains to be seen what Gyökeres does in the last friendlies. Like, I mean, if he starts banging goals, I'm definitely going to get him because he's going to get a price rise for sure. But it's Watkins there for now, 9.0, and the Welbeck for, is it 7 or 6.5? Anyways, I could upgrade to Solanke, which I'm tempted to do. Because Spurs, I feel like Solanke now, it's on penalties as well, since Son is leaving, so it could be very good. Yeah. And on the bench, it's Konsa, Richards or Udogi, and Mark Guiu. I don't know how you say his name. I have to learn that because he's a Chelsea player who's going on loan to Sunderland. Was it Sunderland? One of the promoted teams. And he might start, and he's 4.5. So why not have him there? And we can't know the players this year are very expensive, so we can't have all starters or guaranteed starters. So we have to sacrifice somewhere. So that's it for now. This is going to change a lot, this draft, by the time deadline comes in 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks time now, 15th of August. And last point in this video, before I leave you, is the FPL Camper League. I thought I've had this recommendation from one of the viewers to have like weekly league standings and make it a bit more competitive and maybe get some fire between the players and make it more fun. So the league code, I'm going to put it up there somewhere. It's T30TCT. Please join the league. We have a price. It's not going to be a money price because I used to do this with my friends. We run a league between my friends, and the winner of the league always gets a new football shirt of their favorite team. So this year I got one. Previous years I won. I never got one, but it was still the beginning. We were getting used to the games. But I thought of doing the same about the Channels League. So the winner at the end gets their football, their favorite team's football shirt, which is approximately like, yeah, I don't know, £100 or something, maybe a bit more, maybe a bit less, depending on the team. So I thought that would be better than just making a prize money. Like, who cares? Yep. And we'll have, you know, weekly standings, as I said, and talk about who's first, who's second, how far away, check about a bit their teams, and make it more fun. Because, yeah. But that's it. I'm so excited to be back. Thank you so much for watching again. And welcome back to you too. Welcome back to the new viewers, by the way, because let's not forget FPL Harry, you know, boosted us on his Twitter, and I got like, I don't know, over 80 subscribers overnight. So if you're one of them, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed this season. If you haven't subscribed and you enjoyed the videos, please do. I think I'm 3 subscribers away now from reaching 200, which is yeah, I didn't see that coming last season, so it happened. But thank you. Please like and subscribe, support me and the channel, and I'll see you probably next week. The closer we get to the deadline, the better, and I'll to talk about more on the new drafts. Thank you, and see you next time. Bye. Subscribe.
Come on. Just do it. I'm waiting. Just do it.